Hey my friends, how's it going? It's Ultimus, and first off, during this video, what we're going to be covering today is going to be the Q&A that went on, I believe a day ago now, for pretty much everything coming up for 7.3. I have the transcripts of it all out here. Thank you, Wowhead, for that. I want to be covering some of this stuff that I found to be interesting in that as well, and just to share my thoughts on it. But also in the background of the video itself, rather than just being a full screen type cam video, figured I'd show just some footage of me kind of catching up my Shadow Priest. I dinged 110 on my Shadow Priest earlier this week, so now I'm just going through the process of getting that third relic slot unlocked, and just going through all the Order Hall quest stuff, which is kind of exciting because I've been wanting to play Shadow Priest for a while, and also we'll be talking about some of that as well from the Q&A side of things, and that was one of the points that was addressed there. So nothing crazy gameplay wise, but it's something kind of cool and different. I'm sure I'm playing a Shadow Priest terribly wrong, but I've literally been 110 for a couple days on her, so cut me some slack please. Alright, without further ado, we're going to get all into the video now. Alright guys, so we're going to jump on into the Q&A that was addressed or done the other day. I believe it was yesterday, by Laura and Ion Hazzikostas, about 7.3, which we know is going to be the next content patch for World of Warcraft Legion. I'm not going to be able to touch on all of the questions that were asked, but I do want to talk about some of the ones, at least some of the bigger ones, I suppose, the ones that at least I feel like I can offer some thought on as well, and go from there. So some of the highlights, though, I got the notes over here, the transcripts, which you can find on Wowhead as well. I'll do my best to remember to link those down below for you guys that want to check them out yourselves, or you can even watch the video, which is easier. I was watching it while I was at, or listening to it, I suppose, while I was at the gym today, so rather than having to sit down and devote a whole hour to it, it's a little bit easier. But some of the highlights: lots of new catch-up mechanics in 7.3, artifact knowledge, follow equipment, and unlocking the third relic slot, and new traits. We're going to talk about those in detail. Many things on Argus will be account-wide, including the dungeon unlock, the Light Crucible, and World Quest. And the Nether Shard vendor is moving to Argus. Will be accepting a new currency for 910 gear. So that's something in my eye that was really strange. So as opposed to the 880 gear that they drop by default for the shards that we pick up. Now the Nether Shards, we're going to be using a new currency there. It's going to be picking up 910 gear. Of course, all that does have a chance to roll up. The first question right out of the gate for the Q&A was on time gating. Time gating has been a very controversial topic in World of Warcraft for quite a while now. It seems like it's definitely come to a head in Legion, as far as just time gating content, really making it to where we can only progress so far. It's like Blizzard only wants us to play this much of the game at this pace, and really kind of putting kind of a hamstring, really, not to try to be clever, on players who would want to progress and just plow through the content as fast as possible. The whole idea with that is they feel like basically what he's saying here is, he says, sort of, in response to the question, one of the big points of feedback was after opening the quest line in 7.2 there wasn't much to do. Don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but Argus should have lots of stuff to do. It has 5 chapters and you'll have lots of stuff to do, so they're gonna release the story in sections of it. The first 2 chapters available the first 2 weeks, and I believe the second portion of that is available after this on the second week. After the second week, you'll be able to unlock the Netherlight Crucible and the dungeon, the Seat of the Triumvirate. We don't want players to feel like they have to rush through the story and quest line to unlock the end reward, the Netherlight Crucible. The only thing I would offer to that, to maybe play devil's advocate, is there's just some people that don't care about the story. There's some people that just want to play and min-max and get all the way up to the top, and I know that's a very small percentage of the game, because I know myself, I care about the story, but I just feel like, personally, I just think it's a better play style. It's a better system to let people just kind of play it at their pace. But we'll have to wait and see, especially since a lot of the stuff is account wide now. Will World Quest on Argus be account wide? They're trying their best to make as many things possible account wide, and there will be most of the World Quests, they said yes are, but there are going to be certain ones that are not. So it's like stuff that's like repeatable quest type stuff, or it's key points to the story, more than likely will not be account wide until you've completed them on a specific character, which makes sense. And that one I'm okay with, as long as the majority of them are, especially because there's lots of rep to obtain and things like that. So it'll probably be good if we have a lot of those quests available account-wide. So this by far was the most exciting thing I heard come out of this Q&A. Any plans to remove the time gate for the third relic slot in 7.3? Yes, thank freaking God. Again, I've got 3 alts right now. I've got my main, which is my warrior. I have my demon hunter, which wasn't a problem because I leveled her up pretty quickly after my warrior, so it really wasn't too big of a chore, I didn't feel like. And then after that, I did my unholy death knight, my horde death knight. And now I have my Shadow Priest, and having to go back and do all of that whole quest line all over again, especially because you literally have to do Val'sharah. You have to do Val'sharah for the Tears of Elune and all that stuff like that. So it's literally forcing you, like, because you can level up so quickly with Legion evasions now, you're literally just doing the one zone to save yourself time on the initial, like, basically to compress it all into one. So you're gaining XP for your leveling tune and knocking out that leg of the Order Hall campaign at the same time. Which obviously isn't a problem if you know what you're doing, but it kind of caught people off guard for a little bit with their first alts. And just having to go through and do that entire system all over again. Just a pain in the butt. I'm slowly doing it right now on my priest again. I did it faster on my death knight, but just constantly. So being able to just go right into that, basically how they're going to work is the time gate is going to be automatically removed in 7.3. Players will not have to do the Broken Shore questline to unlock Concordance either. So how Ian explained it in the Q&A was literally the moment you get a character to 110 pretty much and you make your way up, you're going to have all of your possible artifact traits unlocked to sit all the way up to 52, which is all the way up to Concordance, I believe. And then you're going to have your third relic slot unlocked. You're going to have max artifact knowledge, or at least I think it was artifact knowledge 40 on your weapon. You don't need to buy the tomes anymore. You're not going to have to go to the quest line. You're not going to have to do any of that. You're just going to be able to jump right in on this fresh character and get them up to date as quick as possible, which that alone makes me very, very excited. I'm glad that they're aware enough of the fact that they're far enough into the expansion that if they want people to be able to play with their friends and catch up alts, this is a necessary thing. And I like that they're not just sticking with the book mechanic, that they're going to be like, so yeah, your character's just caught up, it's just caught up. And then they were saying artifact knowledge now is going to be cumulative throughout the course of every week. So this is an idea that a couple YouTubers and streamers had for a while, which was, why not just have every Tuesday once reset happens, your artifact knowledge goes up by 1. That seems to be the direction that they're going, so you don't need to no longer use any resources for that artifact knowledge. It's just going to bump up every week. This is a change I like very, very much. I think it's better for the pace of the game. I think it's better for the overall just mental state of the game, just the mental dexterity it takes to play. That way you can focus on doing other stuff that you want to do, or at least other things that you have to do, where it doesn't feel like everything's just a chore. So very, very excited about that. So your artifact knowledge is getting changes, will be global across all players. The week of the patch, all players will be artifact knowledge 41. So there you go. Because artifact knowledge is going up. I think it's up to rank 60, 62, something like that. It's insane. Legion evasions are staying around for 7.3. Which I like, again, because that's the fastest way to level alts right now. So that's great. And then they are going to be adding catch-up mechanics for your champions for your Order Hall stuff. So the dudes you send on missions, they're going to add catch-up mechanics for that. I believe they mentioned something along the lines of buying some type of token that can bump everything up to 900. Something along those lines. Either way, it's great because I don't want to waste my resources and my missions and my time on trying to farm up those silly tokens to upgrade my dudes by 5 points, maybe 10 if I'm lucky, and by 15 if I'm extremely lucky. It's just not how I would like to spend my time in game. There's worse ways to do it, but it's just not how I would like to spend my time. So I'm very excited to see that change is being added. One of the big system things that they're adding with it as well is the Netherlight Crucible. Originally for 7.2, I believe it was, they were going to be adding dual slotted relics essentially, but it was removed at the last minute, which made some people happy, pissed some people off. You know, they were yelling more cut content. But they're going to be bringing this back for 7.3, and the way they explained it, I like it, actually. I do. I'm kind of a... I'm... Yeah, I like it. I do. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. I'll reserve the right to obviously change my mind once I get the system in my hands. But basically, like, you're going to be able to be re-rolling on it, and basically trying to more or less target the relic slots for your artifact weapon that you want. And then they were saying also that it cannot be the same trait. Like, it can't be duplicates of the same trait, so that was really exciting to see. So, be kind of nice to try to target some of those more hard to find or impossible to find almost relic that we're looking for our classes and stuff like that. I know Ret Paladins, I think, have a really hard time. There's like a fire or a holy artifact thing that basically doesn't exist except for on like one boss, I think they mentioned. So, I think that'll be overall good for the game. And so those are some of the biggest like changes aside from like new content and things like that, obviously. Those are some of the big things that really sparked me wanting to talk about this, share it with you guys as well. Again, the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is just a lot of the account wide stuff. It's time. It could be argued that it was time in 7.2.5, but 7.3 definitely is time, especially because I'm pretty sure this is going to be our last major content patch of Legion. We might, I don't know, maybe we'll get one smaller one after that, but I feel like with Gamescom coming up and then BlizzCon in the fall as well, we're probably going to start getting official releases for the next expansion, which is really, really cool. But alt lovers, rejoice. It's going to be easier to catch up your alts now, which is great. That relic slot one is a big deal. Artifact knowledge is just kind of a cherry on top as far as I'm concerned, because it was easy to get that, especially with your mains. Just send them over a book. It wasn't that expensive. Most people have order hall resources to spare, but the relic slot is a big deal. So that's going to be really, really exciting, as well as the new dungeon being account-wide unlocked, things like that. So trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to touch on real quick here. They did say that there are going to be no more additional artifact appearances, which was a little bit disappointing to me. Because that's kind of been one of my favorite systems, honestly. I really like the artifact weapon. I do. I don't necessarily like all the ins and outs of it. The artifact knowledge and things like that. The relics, again, that whole system was kind of a pain. But the actual like principle of it, and just like I like the artifact weapon. I do. I maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I can't keep up with what people are saying and what they're not saying anymore. I don't really care. All I know is I enjoy it. I don't mind it. But so I was kind of bummed out to find out that they're not going to be adding any more artifact weapon skins to the game. They did mention the fact that they are trying to figure out a way to best implement keeping the skins and weapons that you've unlocked and earned with your artifact weapon along after Legion, barring, of course, maybe some of the more challenge mode centric ones, so possibly the Mage Tower ones. And they mentioned something else, and maybe there was the Mythic 15 Keystone appearances. So the ones that were almost more like Mr. Pandaria and Wild Challenge mode-esque type stuff, have those be gone forever, exclusive to those who did them while the expansion was live, which I'd be okay with. I find that's just fair. That just seems fair to me. They addressed time walking raid lockouts, which is going to be a big deal, because within the next month or so, we'll probably see Black Temple time walking come back. They were having the lockout issues with stuff like that, to where if your group broke up before you finished the whole raid, basically, so which really, really sucked. They did address the issue, I believe, before the Black Temple time walking went away, but it's nice to know that they've addressed the issue and fixed it for the next time it goes live. Especially if they want to start doing other content like this as well. I could see them really getting into like doing this, and even doing an ICC type of time walking, or an Old War, which would be sweet. I would actually prefer Old War over ICC. I don't know, that's just me. Talked about Nether Shards. Nether Shards are going away, but they're basically just being replaced by different currency to trade in for gear. Which will be 910 for what the tokens will turn into baseline, with a chance to, of course, roll up, because I haven't seen anything saying otherwise. They talked a little bit about split rating, LFR, things like that, but nothing that really I can necessarily comment on or add anything to the conversation on. So overall, pretty happy with some of the stuff that was talked about in the Q&A. I know these Q&As are a point of contention for some people, but I look forward to them. I enjoy listening to them. I like hearing from the people that are over top and over in charge of different systems and aspects of the game, and just hearing their thoughts on it. Obviously, I disagree with some, I agree with others, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's probably better that way, but it's cool just hearing from them and what their thoughts are on it. So at least I understand the thought process. Like, I feel like if I can understand their thought process behind what's going on, it makes it easier to at least agree or disagree. But we'll see. So overall, really excited for the patch. I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to seeing everything as it gets flushed out. And overall, I think it'll just be a good experience. And I'm looking forward to getting into it, especially with the catch-up mechanics, because I'm getting the itch, and I might level a couple more alts. I don't know. We might just wait till 7.3. We'll see. I don't know. We might have to dust off the Holy Paladin, but we'll see. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you thought of the Q&A if you happen to watch it, if you watched it afterwards, if you're watching it just so you could come back to have an opinion and something to say. I don't know. However you want to do it. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And as always, I'll catch you next time.